A mysterious UFO sighting by a man, Carlos Diaz, who claims he took authentic UFO photos of plasma orbs. He has footage and he saw landed craft, he claims, in a mysterious cave. This happened about 3 years ago, but the thing is that this is a very apropos coverage again, because we have to remember what he saw is what we're seeing over northeastern United States. Light orbs, mystery drones, and even the craft that he saw supposedly was emitting some kind of a ray towards the ground. Now, in the history of ufology, there are several cases of alleged encounters with extraterrestrials, and people who claim to have contacted them are known as contactees. We cannot deny the fact that UFOs are real. While the existence of aliens is still questionable, Mexican photographer Carlos Diaz's case is considered to be one of the UFO stories where the witness not only encountered the UFO, but even took photographs of it. In January 1981, Carlos Diaz Martinez was waiting for a journalist at Ayusco Park near Mexico City, as he was on an assignment for some magazine. It was early in the morning. He was inside his car preparing his camera for his work, and while Carlos was expecting to see the journalist, he looked out of his window and suddenly his attention was caught by a strange yellow glow in the sky coming from the valley. At first he thought it was a forest fire, but as the object began approaching him, he saw a large orange oval-shaped UFO. Fortunately, Diaz had already prepared his camera and was in the perfect spot to take photos. And as he began taking the shots, his car began shaking violently. He went out of the car and continued taking photographs of the object before it flew straight up and it disappeared. Diaz was in a state of shock, and at that time he had not even the slightest idea what he had witnessed. He kept returning to the same spot several times in the hope to see that object again. His wish to see the object did come true in March of the same year. And once again, Diaz spotted the bright orange glow over the valley and also observed the object carefully through the fog and rain that saturated the forest in Ayusco Park. As he explained, that time the object appeared to be dome-shaped with a smooth ring in its center and covered with a number of half spheres, each around about 3 feet, 1 meter in diameter. And while he was looking at the object, he felt some sensation and lost consciousness. And later, he claimed that when he woke up, the UFO was gone, and his clothes, which had been wet because of the rain, got dried. He noticed that there was another car parked in front of his car, and a blonde humanoid entity approached him and told him to return to the same spot the following day to get answers to his questions. Following the entity's instructions, Diaz returned the next day and found the entity sitting on the grass. The entity told Diaz that it was him who grabbed his shoulder. Diaz also learned that the humanoid had come from the craft. So what happened with him during the time he was unconscious? Well, for the following months, his memory continued returning back in bits and pieces. He recalled that the craft had been hovering over his head and even attempted to touch it. He also remembered that he had seen a craft landed in a giant cave. He described the inside of the cave as it was full of stalagmites, some of which were carved into what appeared to be Mayan sculptures. I saw many people in the cave, some of which waved to me, and in a state of shock, I waved back. Then he was taken to another cave inside the first one, where he saw glowing egg-shaped orbs and then stepped into one of them. Diaz found himself in some place like a forest. He said, I could see all the details of the forest as if I was walking through it. I could not touch anything, but I could feel the temperature and moisture. I could see and experience everything, yet I was not physically there, he said. After that, he was brought back to the first cave and then to his car. He was told by the entity that he received some mysterious knowledge. Diaz claimed later that he had been contacted by the entity several times and traveled through those orbs all over the earth. According to his claims, the aliens taught him that his mission was to help the Earth's ecology. Diaz's case attracted many researchers and UFO experts who studied his photographs and could not deny their authenticity. Mexican TV journalist and ufologist Jamie Maussan believes that Diaz's UFO photos are among the most impressive he has seen. His images were checked by an image processing expert, Jim Diletoso, at Village Labs in Tucson, Arizona, who concluded that they were genuine. German journalist Michael Hasseman had been investigating Diaz's case for 7 years and concluded that it's completely genuine. He said, "Since I wanted to be sure before I published the case that any possibility of a hoax can be excluded, I did not only travel to Mexico 12 times for on-site field investigations, but also consulted leading experts in the US, Belgium, Germany, and Italy." Colin Andrews, another UFO researcher, best known for his research into the crop circle subject since 1983, flew to Mexico for 10 days in 1995 to perform his own investigation into the Diaz case. Diaz explained to him that just before he went inside the UFO, he was told by them, the extraterrestrials, that he could only enter through the sides of the craft and through the yellow segments and not the red. Carlo Diaz's UFO encounter is one of the most discussed cases from Mexico. However, it could not be reached. He could not be reached globally due to a language barrier. Still, the facts and evidence told by Diaz are reliable, which makes his case outstanding, these people claim. Now, the weird thing is that these things look like the Carlos Diaz 1981 images, what we're seeing on the northeast coast over the United States. Don't you think? They look like plasma orbs, but they are, according to him, UFOs. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is on Hows and Whys. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.